Hey Denchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the third ever studio EP from Eminence. This one is called Hollow Mind. Eminence, a Canadian DJ duo, is currently Monstercat's longest running trance project. To my knowledge, the duo has been around since Monstercat's third album, which is just absolutely mind-blowing to think about the fact that 25 albums later, they're still here with the label and producing some really cool music. When it comes to me liking Monstercat trance music, a lot of that tends to come from the people who typically don't produce trance. Remember when I said I really liked Stonebank's Lift Me Up on the Monstercat 5-year anniversary compilation? That's one of my probably all-time favorite trance releases, as well as Mitchell Claxton's Wuxia and Laszlo's Messiah. I can honestly say that Eminence has continually surprised me with some really awesome releases, although I can definitely say those came with some disappointments as well. For example, the track Knock Me Out that dropped last year, which I was just not a big fan of. But with 2015's Universe EP, we saw Eminence heavily going into a house direction, which I was really excited about, and then they released the very awesome single Night Goes On with Kayla and Superman's Fiend, which I did a review of on Your EDM earlier this year, and just a huge track, absolutely. So with the announcement of the Hollow Mind EP, I was definitely expecting something to be very house-centric, and boy, I'm happy I was wrong with this one. Hollow Mind is easily the duo's most diverse yet cohesive project to date, and that can probably be credited to a number of really awesome guests they featured on this one, both in terms of vocals and production. With the vocals on this one, we get Kayla, Aloma Steele, Danica Nadeau, and Anna Yvette, all of who are Monstercat's most common vocalists, but just about all of them find a really good niche in this EP. Especially Kayla, who I think has the two best appearances on the entire thing. In fact, the first track on this EP, the title track Hollow Mind, you actually hear Kayla's vocals before anything, so the entire EP is just introduced by her beautiful voice. In my reviews on Your EDM, I've made mention of how I think Kayla makes a really great pop vocalist, but that gets entirely flipped with this track because I think Kayla's vocal appearance is definitely more rock-centric with this track. Like I said, this EP is super diverse, and in terms of production, they're heading in a number of different directions. I don't even know what I'd try to call this track in terms of genre. I'm assuming a lot of people would probably call it dubstep, but I think it's honestly shying into a little bit more of electronic influence rock, like I mentioned with Kayla's vocals. I think that would be more of a proper term for it. This starts what I thought was going to be a very bright and housey EP with a really dark tone, and that continues for the majority of this thing. In fact, I think the only two tracks that aren't carrying in this theme are track 4 and 5, Altitude and Ghost. But even those ones don't necessarily sound out of place because the track 2127 has a very strong minimal house style, which in turn pairs very well with Altitude, which goes into a little bit more of minimal trance. Speaking on that track, Altitude is one of the two songs on the EP which feature another producer. This one features Alex Klingel, who has been extremely popular in the enhanced trance music scene, which is heavily house-centric as well. And I think in terms of production, they both absolutely killed this one. I love the way the melody carries out throughout the first minimal drop. I don't typically like the songs that have the really long four-to-the-floor intros, but this one definitely worked for me, and I think one of the most surprising things about this track is my least favorite part about it, which is Danica's vocals, and she's one of my favorite vocalists on Monstercat, so it's very hard for me to say that, but it's definitely true. I think her vocals on this one remind me a little bit too much of the song Follow You, which she featured with AU5, although at the same time I really don't think this track would have worked as an instrumental, and I think Danica is a good pairing for this. I just didn't really like her appearance that much in the end. All in all, I just really love the number of genres that Eminence is experimenting with on this EP, and I think it definitely paid off because this one ties together really well. On the EP's other producer feature with Marcus Cole, My Galaxy, we see both producers who are classically trained in trance and house, going into future bass and dubstep, which I never expected to see from either of them. Marcus Cole is actually a producer that I've been in contact with for a number of years. Back when him and I used to talk a lot, he was still making progressive house, so when I saw his name reappear on the spotlight with his appearance on this EP, I was really surprised to find out that they chose to take in this style, but I think it definitely paid off. The thing I probably dislike the most about this track is the little Jack U pluck that's used in the drop, which has just been so overused in the trap scene. I think I've mentioned this in other reviews before. I think if that would have been cut out, this track would have made a lot more solid of a track, but I definitely think it's a good first attempt in future bass for both artists. Although there are a lot of really great names on this EP, I don't think all of the EP's success can be attributed to those guests. You can definitely tell on this one because even on the tracks that Eminence doesn't have any co-producers on it, they're still experimenting just as much as the ones that do. Overall, I'm just very surprised and happy at the product of this EP. For the Hollow Mind EP, I'm feeling a light to decent 7 out of 10. As usual, I have the stream linked in the description so you guys can check it out if you haven't yet. If you have, make sure to let me know what you thought about the EP in the comments section below. Anyway, I'm Landon Remixes, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.